Hi everyone, welcome to the Contract Nugget series. Today we'll be taking a look at something very new in our procurement system. It's called the Standstill Period. Before we had the standstill, contract decisions were finalized by each procuring entity. Everything was private. There was no communication, no transparency. Bidders were confused, upset, disengaged from government tenders. This is bad for competition and engagement. Part 5 of the new Procurement Act resolves this matter. The standstill period is mandatory for Tiers 1, 2, and 3 contracts. A procuring entity cannot start any contracting activity before the end of the standstill. So how does it work? Once a contract award recommendation is clear, a standstill notice is sent to all tender participants. Critical information must be included, such as the recommended bidder and the contract price. Beyond simple administration, bidders can now feedback to challenge a decision or check if the evaluation was done fairly and correctly. This should all be done within 10 days. Meanwhile, let's try not to make some missteps that can trouble the process. Misstep number 1: wrong expiry date for the standstill. Ensure that you set out the correct date that the standstill ends when you send the standstill notice. Best practice should make it a working day. Misstep number 2: not providing any award criteria. It is important for bidders to check that criteria listed in the notice matches criteria given early in the tender document. Misstep number 3: not naming the winning bidder. This is required under law, so please comply and put it in the standstill notice. And finally, misstep number 4: only giving overall scores. The scoring breakdown gives details that allows bidders to understand what went well and what did not. Please provide. Avoiding these missteps does not mean there will be no questions, but remember these are your stakeholders and customer service does matter. As some bidders may take the opportunity to communicate with the procuring entity, this also means that procuring entities must be ready and available to receive comments and respond to queries. This is a head start on engagement with your future contractor. After the standstill period has finished, the procuring entity can move forward with finalizing and ratifying the contract. And what happens next? Do you recall the other new content of the law? Procuring entities are now required to publish notice of the contract award. All participants, that is, the procuring entity, the unsuccessful bidders, and the successful bidder, should be satisfied that the tender proceedings have been conducted in a fair, transparent, and competitive manner. Now that the standstill period is part of your procurement practice, how has it been working? Do we need any changes with the period? Drop me a line and let me know what you think. Meet me back here next week for our next Contract Nugget session. This is Shan. Walk good.